All right, what's up, everybody? Look, I want to give you a quick update on the crypto breakout because some pretty important things are happening now. So, as you all know, over the last couple of days, I have been talking about the fact that I believe that a breakout could very possibly be on the way. I said crypto might dump really soon. Here's my plan. Important moves happening. Brace for impact. Here it comes. Then, bam, the breakout is officially here. That was a pretty cool sequence of videos. And we were, of course, talking about the fact that Bitcoin was starting to lose support and seemingly break out of this ascending structure that it's been in since April 23rd of 2025. And over the last couple, 24 hours or so roughly, we have started to see some pretty interesting developments from Bitcoin here. And I want to just update you really quickly on what is happening so you can, of course, stay as up to date as possible. Now, guys, do not forget before we get into that update that if you do want to start trading a little bit of crypto yourself today, you can go get up to $10,000 per user over on BTCC and 40% lower trading fees, which is just a ridiculous deal. If you trade often, you know how good that is. So check out that link down below. Let me know what you think. So, kind of diving into it though, now that you have a bit of a context as what's been going on, let's talk about what's happening here in the crypto market. So, as you all know, yesterday's video, I told you all, of course, that we were seeing the breakout happening. It was officially here, and that is now confirmed. We have officially got the 4-hour closes outside of the ascending structure. We've got the daily close outside of the ascending structure, confirming that this breakout has happened. And of course, this is what we kind of figured would happen, of course, just because there's a 90% chance that it did happen, right? Now, in yesterday's video, I laid out these things called bounce zones. And I told you all, hey, these are the 3 zones where Bitcoin is the most likely to try to bounce off of them. They're going to try to push Bitcoin's price back to the upside. The first one being between $105 and $102,000. The second one being between 97 and 93. The third one being between 88 and 86. And I told you all that I would be doing massive accumulations at each one of these bounce zones in preparation for what I think could be some sort of continuation. Now, considering we are going into the summer, it wouldn't particularly shock me if this does take a while, right? Like if we do see the market do this and maybe a little bit of that and a little bit of this with that, with this, right? If it does something like that and it takes a bit of time, it wouldn't shock me because summertime liquidity is usually pretty crappy, to be honest. But I do again believe that these are macro support zones that we should watch closely because they have a good chance at holding Bitcoin's price up. Well, as Bitcoin's price is starting to break out of this ascending channel, we're actually starting to see some signs and signals that tell me that we could be on the right track here, that we very well may be correct in the assumption that these bounce zones are going to work and that they're going to try to push the price up. Now, let me go over the top 2 with you because there are 2 that I think are extremely important, one being more from a macro perspective, one being more from a short-term perspective. So the first one that we're going to look at is the short-term perspective, and we're going to start looking at the RSI. Okay, let's look at the RSI, the 4-hour RSI here. What you can see from the 4-hour RSI is that as Bitcoin's price is breaking out to the downside of this ascending channel, something very clear is happening with Bitcoin's RSI on the 4-hour charts, and that it is steeply declining. I mean, steeply. At one point we got to what? 37, nearly an extreme fear here on the RSI, which is not crazy, but kind of crazy, right? I mean, that was a very fast move. Bitcoin's only fallen like 5K from 112K to 107K, but its 4-hour RSI has nearly seen a complete reset, which is, of course, what we're looking for. And the reason why this is such an important thing, right? Why it's so big and why I'm so kind of excited about it is that as we are pulling back out of this ascending channel, it just means that Bitcoin's price is resetting. And that's all we want to see. We want to see Bitcoin's price reset after this monumental move upwards. We want to be able to see it reset, try to find some support and continue upwards. And the only way that it can truly reset is by seeing its indicators get that cool down, come back into these overextended zones to the downside, see your Bollinger Bands fully extended. I mean, look at this. We're already at the bottom side of our Bollinger Bands, right, on the 4 hours as well. We want to see those things. And although we're not seeing that particularly on the daily yet, right, we are still moving well, right? We're already seeing Bitcoin's 1-day RSI at the 57, 58 level, which just goes to show that while Bitcoin is pulling back right now, it is seeing a beautiful reset in terms of its indicational strength. And that's so important for our future. It's so important to determine if we can or cannot continue upwards. And it's a sign that we very well can. Now, from more of a macro perspective, okay, from more of a macro perspective, we are actually seeing something happening here on the liquidation charts that I think is pretty interesting. So as you all know, I've been talking about the fact that there are a crap ton of liquidations to the downside, over $20 billion in liquidations just from here, guys, to here. There is the possibility for over $20 billion worth of liquidations just on a move like this. And if you don't think that's possible, you're out of your mind. It absolutely is possible. And I've told you all that is a threat. Obviously, that's a threat to the market. That's a threat that these lizard people, those little slimy, weird creatures, will jump in and start pushing the price down to try to liquidate as many of those people as they can before these people start jumping ship. But what's interesting is that as we are seeing Bitcoin's price pulling down to start pursuing some of these liquidations, we're actually starting to see liquidations really building to the top side. I mean, look at that. Look how cool this is. So there are currently 9 billion. I mean, realistically, that's kind of insignificant. It's like right here. There's over 8 billion with a B, billion, $8 billion worth of liquidations if Bitcoin's price pushes back up towards 115. Now, am I saying that I think Bitcoin's about to do that? No. But what I am saying is that as we are going lower and lower and lower, people are getting extremely confident that this market is going to continue downwards. And that's usually a great sign that the support's going to be found, right? When you're going down and everyone thinks you're going to keep going down, you usually reverse course and go upwards to liquidate these people to the top side. And although there aren't a lot of liquidations up here by any means, there are still a good amount, right? Over 8 billion within the next like $8,000 or $9,000. It's a lot. And I think the lower that Bitcoin's price may go, right? If it does venture into 104, 103, 102, whatever, these liquidations are just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and open up that door of opportunity that one of these bounce zones will continue to try to push Bitcoin's price to the upside, whether it be soon or what I think is more likely towards the end of summer. But obviously, that is just a random guess. There's so many things that have to happen over the next couple of days and weeks. Okay. And so, with that in mind, I just wanted to let you know there's actually some good things happening with this breakout right now that imply that our bounce zones are probably going to hit. And I think that if we can get some pretty, or not we, if I can get some pretty sizable or decent accumulations within these bounce zones, I think that would be a good time to rotate because my whole strategy right now remains the same. We've been taking profits consistently over the last couple of weeks. So now that, if we're possibly going to be coming back down to say 94 or 86 or whatever it may be, I can rotate some of these profits back into the market here and obviously let that puppy ride just like we did here. I mean, look at these rotations, right? Taking profits up here, reinvesting right here, taking profits, get that off the screen. There we go. Taking profits up here, reinvesting down here, possibly. Man, what a hell of a run this could be for us, right? And so with that in mind, that's what I'll continue to do. Guys, don't forget that if you do want to see it whenever I am making these buys, these sales, these moves, you can go check out the link to the school down below. In the school, you're going to get access to everything that I'm doing, other coaches, professional team of traders, and a great community. I mean, think about this real quick. The market's been pretty crappy today. Look at the gains this community's putting out over the last 12 hours. 297% or 33%, 470%. Ridiculous. Now, do I support 500x leverage? No, I don't. But he did it. 100% there. 27, 44. I mean, look at this bad boy. 31% are there. 53, 52, 164%, 44%, 41%. Like these guys are generating crazy gains, even in a market like this, which is crazy. Like nothing really that good is happening, but they're locking in gains. And that's the power of the school. And it's the power of this community. And so if you want to get access to all of this and start locking in some of these gains yourself, check out the link to the school down below. And don't forget that if you want to start trading today, like that bonus I told you about earlier today, a lot of opportunity there for you. So, of course, I hope you have been enjoying the videos. You guys really seem to be enjoying these vids while I've been out and away, which is cool, right? Because I get super stressed out when I'm making videos not at home. So I'm glad you guys have been enjoying them. I'm glad you guys have been staying as up to date as possible with all this. Don't get worried about a dip. If it dips, we're going to rip. So we're going to lock it in. We're going to keep the strategy going. And, of course, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic weekend in the future here. So, of course, again, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.